Oh my, it's Kellee White.
Hey, it's James Van Prague.
What are you up to?
Thinking about changing the world.
Me too. We should do a show together.
What would it be about?
Let me show you.
The James and Kellee Show. Hey. Hi. Hi, James.
My friend Carmela is here.
Hi,
Hi,
Kellee.
Carmela. So nice to see you.
Thank you for having me.
It's a very particular show, and today's show is on generosity, gratitude, and being gracious. Right?
Yes.
Generosity.
Yes.
Well, I moved to San Diego about 5 years ago, and the first person I met was this lovely lady next to me, and she was working at a place by the counter, and she lit up the entire place. Like, oh my goodness, I'm not used to people that are just so open and friendly and light. And I went to that store just to see her. And I invited her over because she's the most generous, gracious person I know.
Oh.
And I wanted her to be a part of the show.
Yes. Well, I'm glad.
That's
Welcome.
Fantastic.
That's actually in my house, too.
Yeah. I literally came over to bake a cake today.
Well, tell
If you want
everybody
to bake a cake,
what you're making for James today.
I am making a from scratch chocolate cake, chocolate frosting, chocolate cake, double decker with a
Okay.
little bit of coffee in the frosting.
Okay, that's very generous, and James, I'm sure you're very grateful. I had to tie it together. Sounds fabulous. I mean, generosity is amazing.
Wow. And we do this for a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, said we should do. Tell that story, Kellee. How we came for us to do the show today.
Tell us the story of which?
How we came for us this subject to do this.
Oh, well, we came to do this story on generosity and on gratefulness. We had friends that were talking to us about it, actually, and they wanted us to have this topic because the world has really gone askew in so many ways. And it's, the simple things like being generous and being grateful are the things that are the most important in life. And yet it seems like this world has just kind of tilted itself in another direction. So James and I thought it was important to bring this back. I mean, it's a simple thing when people say to me, what happens on the other side? I'll tell you what happens. When you do a life review, they want to know, were you generous? Were you grateful? Were you kind? Were you good to others? It's not complicated to do all of those things.
True. People have a hard time hearing me. I hear it. Is that right? Can you hear me better now? You can see me now. Let me get a microphone out for people. They have a hard time hearing me.
I know. That's okay. Oh, Feltz Tyler Lisa says she can't stop crying. Oh, I'm sorry, Feltz, that you're crying, but I'm grateful for finding both of you from Pearl. Isn't that great? Yes, James is a little muffled, Penny, but he's going to get better. Yes. Well, everybody's waiting to hear. We're going to hear you. Well, I'm grateful you're here, Carmela, because we can hear you perfectly.
Well, you know what's so interesting about it? My entire reason for being here today was that I was grateful for having just met the light. Like when he walked into the place where I work, it was an equal energy. It was immediately a mutual admiration association.
Yeah.
And being able to look in somebody's eyeballs and say, thank you for coming in. I'm so glad you were here. And it's genuine. I haven't gotten to the place where I'm experiencing that all day, every day, but I'm working on it, and I'm working on saying yes to it a lot more often.
Great.
What else? Is that better?
If you get a little more in the middle, it was better. Okay. There you go.
Hi, how's that?
Better.
Oh, good. Sorry, Carmela used to hang out.
All right.
Oh, there you go. And generosity is a quality. Gratefulness is a quality. These are all muscles. They just have to be developed.
Well, I met Carmela, like I said earlier. I mean, it was really over a deli counter.
Okay.
And I bought her some salads. And I mean, this lady had a grin from ear to ear. I'm like, who is this person? Because I'm usually the one that goes into a store and changes the energy and says to someone, "How are you today?" And they're like, "Ugh." And I want to break up that cycle of them going through their, the cash register or just
Right.
doing their thing. And I always break a cycle. You probably too. Always got to break that cycle. To say, wait,
Yeah.
hi, I'm acknowledging you. It's important that there's an acknowledgement here. And this lovely lady did that without. I went, just
Mhm.
doing that. Oh, I got another one. And I
That's
was so taken
amazing.
back. And she was consistent about it. Every time when she was very consistent, you don't know this, but I watched her, I observed her, and she's just a consistent. She wants, I'm not going to cry. She said to me once, during the room, I guess it was that they were closing, and she said, I just want to make sure everybody's having a good time.
Sounds like you.
I
That's what you
know.
say.
Right? Right?
Yes.
That's exactly why
Oh.
we met up. And
Yeah.
I'm
Oh.
I'm blown away when I can when I and I it, again, it doesn't happen that often when I can meet somebody who is present in the moment with me, because I when I go to work, it's whatever I do. I have two dogs. I train therapy dogs, and in fact, I just left just working at literally a deli counter. I was the baker, and I made sandwiches and I did all kinds of stuff. But whatever I wanted to do, whatever I was doing, I wanted to make sure the person on the other side, especially during these last 12 months,
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure the other person knew that I would take care of them. Whatever they needed, I would take care of them, because sometimes people would come in and this was the only place they were going to be going that week. They would go straight back to their house.
That's right.
And I wanted to be that. I wanted to be a
Mhm.
smile. I wanted to make sure that they got not just food nourishment from me, but I wanted to give back an energy that they could take back and go, okay, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Mm.
Because if I generated it,
Mm.
I could take that a part of it home with me too. So it was a little
Wow.
selfish. If I was trying to generate it, I got to keep part and I got to give them part.
And
Yeah.
just think about the rippling effect. The rippling effect is you give out to the world with that one person, and
Mhm.
they feel good. They go home and talk to a family member, energy shifts with everybody that goes there. During
Absolutely.
your life review, at the end of it, when we go to the other side, we look back at those moments that we created that positive energy.
Right.
We see the rippling effect, the influence
Right.
that all over the people.
Mm.
So
Right.
keep up the good work.
Well, and especially this past 2020 was really
Ah,
tough, Carmela. I mean, for you to be a beam of light, I mean, that for me, I feel so grateful for you for being able to do that for other people during this time, because it was such a rough time for people. It's been such a rough time.
and let me tell you, Kelly, and it's like the Carmela hour here, but I watch her. If she's worked with coworkers who just went through the whole process. They weren't connected. They weren't open. They were just
Yeah.
doing their thing, as most people are. And she would stop. She would stop that, and she would
Mm.
just acknowledge, and even acknowledge her coworkers, by the way.
Wow.
And when I see someone do that, whether it's a Target, my favorite place, or a grocery store, or somewhere else, in other words, I stop and I will. I see a person saying something to their coworker, something positive, or to a customer. I stop and say, "Thank you. I really like to hear that now." Because we've been around so much negativity and illusion in this,
Yes.
past 4 or 5 years, and whatever it's
Hmm.
been, the ridiculousness of politics, ridiculousness. And so coming together as one, separation is ridiculous. That I want to acknowledge when someone does something good and is
Right.
generous and helpful and loving. That's what needs to be pushed. That.
Right, right. And you've always been so generous. I mean, James, you're one of the most, if not the most generous person I have known. Next to my mom and Don, the three of you are the most generous and kind people I've ever known, and my mom.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you.
It's the truth. You
I'm
you
deeply
do
so
anything for anybody, and you've given out so much energy. And we were talking about it today. And tell everybody that story. It's such a good story.
Well, like I said to you earlier, I was born this way, like me and Lady Gaga. I was born with a sense of self. When I was a little boy in Queens, New York, I would always have a little garden in the front, little house, a little tiny patch of dirt, and I always wanted a nice garden, and now I have one. And I used to imagine, I'd have one, and I always felt good about that. But I always felt good about myself. I don't know. I had a good sense of myself. And I didn't need it from my mom, my dad, my siblings. I just had a sense of having fun with myself. And I just kind of grew up with that. I look forward to the future. I look forward to doing something with expressing myself through writing, whatever it was. Long story short, of course, went to school, got a job in LA as an assistant, production assistant, a runner, delivering scripts and documents. And I was working for a production company. I'll say it, Charles Freeze Productions, and it's a CBS. It was CBS Radford over there. And I remember I was making copies on a copy machine, and I heard the man say to his assistant in the other room. He was in an office, and she was in a main room, and he screamed at her, and he said, "God damn it!" And curse, said, "Don't." This poor lady was at least 20 years older than he was, and I thought to myself, how could some human being speak to another person that way? And I'm from New York, okay? So I'm a typical New Yorker. But I was like, how could I cannot, this is before anything spiritual. But I knew inside me that was not right. That was wrong to treat another person that way. And I made a vow at that moment, as I was copying, I will never speak to someone like that. I'll never treat anyone like that. And if I make it big, so I said, when I make it big, because I knew I was going to make it big,
Right.
you know how I will never, never treat someone like that. I will treat someone as they want to be, as I want to be treated. I will treat them, that golden rule. And I've lived by the golden rule, and we all should live by the golden rule. And I want to treat people as I want to be treated. And sometimes, my friends look at me and say, you're too much of a softie. But like, you know what? They need the extra money. They need a pair of shoes. They need this. If I was in their position, I'd love someone to help me out too. So
Right.
why not? I wish someone was there when I was growing up in this.
And don't you love it when people have success? I'm so happy when somebody has success, whatever that means to them. I'm so thrilled for them.
Thrilled.
Yeah.
And that's something which I did not have. Well, you're actually one of my closest friends that really has honored my success. But a lot of people were jealous and envious, which I knew nothing about that. I don't. Why are they jealous and envious? I'm number one New York Times bestseller. Why I'm on TV? Why are they? I never thought of jealousy or envy,
I know.
especially in the spiritual fields, where there are other people in this work, and they were the most jealous people. I was shocked. It threw me. I was really shocked. There aren't a lot of people that walk the talk. That's all I'm going to say. It's very few and far between.
I agree with that statement very much. Everybody's saying they love to see people succeed. I do too. Jealousy is an ugly thing. Oh, it's awful.
Totally. Everybody should succeed, and any way they can, as long as they don't hurt people doing it.
Right.
Help people doing it. And it always comes back, as we talked about last week with karma. It's the energy you put forth that you will get back. It's the energy you created throughout the universe. That is what you'll experience. And wouldn't it be nice to help somebody out and know that you've helped them to be a success, or helped them in some way to help them fulfill their lives? I mean,
it feels so good to do it too.
And
It's a positive
together,
thing.
And the illusion is that we're separate. We're not. The biggest illusion we have in this world, this dimension, is that we're separate from one another, when in reality, we are connected to one another.
Yes.
And when you leave this physical dimension and get into that spiritual realm, the first thing you have the realization is you're connected to the oneness. We're all part of each other.
Yes.
Why don't we have it now in the physical?
Yes. Marie Tillman says, I always told my boys, treat people the way you want to be treated. Always be kind. And that's the truth.
True. You want to say something?
Yeah, I would. So I have a question, because I hear it, and like you said, you from day one you were you were born this way, and I find from my upbringing, or from whatever story I have about why, when I'm not grateful, when I'm in a headspace that's maybe not 100% great for the people around me, is working out that muscle of gratitude. It's being, how do I get there, or how do I?
Great.
I can't just float into it sometimes.
Got it. So that's a good question. The question is, you can hear me okay? I'm just very aware of this. We're human. We're souls having a human experience, which means that it's trial and error. So sometimes it'll be easier. Sometimes you remind yourself, well, can't do that. Let me think differently. It's not going to be just like that overnight. You're going to have to work the process. You're going to do it over again. Okay, I can keep myself a little better this time. Oh, now I notice I'm doing more. Doing it less this time. So it's a process. So don't beat yourself up. It's a process, one step at a time. See? Don't finish like that. It's a process. Makes it easier.
And what happens when I get annoyed that I keep getting the same people that teaching me the same thing over?
So what are you learning from those people? So anyone in your life that is you're annoyed by, there's something within them that's within you. Because they're just reflections of what's inside you. They're just mirroring what's going on within you. So what within you has not come into wholeness of being? And that's what you got to ask yourself. What within you is not wholeness of being? When I walk around my property here, and I've done a big property, but I love what plants I've done, and so I actually planted some more bulbs. But I walk, every step I do take, I have gratitude. And the gratitude is a thank you, gratitude. I look at
Yeah.
the trees, the leaves. And I think everybody should have that sense of when they're walking around with their properties or in their apartment or whatever, just like gratitude for having you have and doing what you do. And it doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't,
Right.
listen, just those little things.
Well, it
There's
can
always
be
going to be
it can be as simple as an appreciation for
an
something.
appreciation, like gratitude lists.
Right. Absolutely.
Don't wait
Um,
till you pass over out of the body, looking back at your life. Do it now. What are you grateful for?
Gretchen White says the sweetest thing to you, James. She says, "You plant a light bulb with us."
I'm a whole electric company.
Oh, and this is so true. Debbie Foster Horan says, "When we practice gratitude, we raise our vibrations for the greater good."
I just reading that as you
Yeah,
said it, Kelly. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's very true. Yeah, I mean, kindness is easy. You can be kind to others. It's a muscle, it's a quality, and you can grow it and grow it and grow it and practice it.
And it's very interesting when people think, and we talked about this earlier. Um, a lot of us have unrealistic expectations of other people, and we get caught up in that. That's a trap. That's a pattern over and over again. Because we do something kind or generous to someone, I guess naturally expect that in return. But more than likely, as my good friend Kelly White told me years ago, that person or people are not able, they're not aware
No.
to that. They're limited. They're not able to
Yeah,
see it like we see it. They see it very differently. So we've got to accept where they're at. Always be somebody where they're at.
always. And the other thing is, when you are generous and you are kind to others, don't have any expectation about anything. Just
Let's
be
give it.
that.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
It's a
And
selfless act.
Be selfless.
this may be oversimplifying it, but as a dog trainer and someone who's in and around dogs and their people all the time, I see this immediately at the dog park. It's the
Yeah,
same thing. When I show up, and I am just glad to be in, because it's heaven. The dog
yeah,
park is what heaven looks like.
Right.
And if I show up and I'm like, well, now I have to walk this dog, and you're not paying attention, you're not behaving, and I have to watch 6 dogs, and if I'm that way, no dogs want to be around me.
right.
And I have to check myself, and I know it immediately.
Yes.
Nobody wants to listen to me. But the second I can find with my most obstinate Shiba Inu or whatever it is, the second I can find, you know what? I get it. You don't want to be around this. We can go sit over here.
Yeah,
Somebody else comes over, and another puppy comes over. And so I can see it there. I'm looking for ways for that to carry over into my life with people. Dogs
Oh,
are easier.
okay. So I
Oh,
have
dogs are easy.
a suggestion. Kelly, see what you think about this. Something, let's say someone at the park annoys you, a human annoys you.
Mhm.
There's got to be something positive about that person. Even though their exterior might be something that annoys you, there's something positive about them. Maybe they're dressed nice. Maybe they say something, I don't know, maybe there's something nice you notice. There's got to be something positive about that person. Try to find a positivity. Even if it's hard, try to find something positive because they're all God. Try to find something light. They might have a tough morning, a tough day, but it's got to be something, especially if they have a dog, they got to be sensitive, right? They got to have some sensitivity. There's got to be something positive about that person. And if you run into that and you find it's hard to do with people, just walk up and say, hi, how are you today? As you do that anyway. Hi, how are you today? Change the energy, shift energy. And they may need that to be gracious,
Yeah,
to be happy.
that's very true.
Yeah. And some of those days, it might be me who's the person that needs somebody to come up
Exactly.
and say, hi, how are you? Because
Exactly.
I might be the one bringing the negativity.
Exactly.
Right, right. James, here's a really good comment. This is from Sherry Robbins Canner. She says, "It's so hard to be grateful when you have lost a child, but my need to help and be kind to others is greater than ever. Why is that?" Oh, Sherry, first of all, I'm so sorry for your loss. I think your need to help others is to help yourself with that. I mean, to get you through all of this. That's a tough one.
Yeah, the number one, I believe, Sherry, it isn't a punishment, by the way. I know you might think it's a punishment because that's normal and that's natural for moms to think that. It's not a punishment. It's because there's no death whatsoever. If you will, just hear me out. It's really a lesson for an advanced soul. I think the advanced souls take on the hardest lessons. And to me, personally, I think the hardest lesson in this human earth school is losing a child. I do because it seems unnatural. And go, what did I do? Why did I cause this? How did I go through all of these different scenarios? When really it comes down to that soul, you gave that soul the opportunity to come to this life, and the period that soul needed might have needed the experience of birth, might have needed the experience of being 8 years, 10 years, 25 years, and then at the exit point you go.
Yeah.
Just because we're born in the human species, we have to be careful. Not because a successful life is 80, 90, 100 years. Not really. It's a soul experience. And there are souls that only need a little experience, and there are advanced souls like yourself that give the opportunity to that soul
Right.
to live that short life, knowing it's going to be very painful. But I guarantee you, sweetheart, and I guarantee you that there was a gift within that. There was a gift. I talked about this earlier with my friend Jordy who lost a child. There's a gift. And what happens when you don't see that gift? I guarantee you later on it'll come back to fruition. Because your child is not die just in vain. You'll make sure of that. We know that.
And I'm sure, Shari, that you'll be helping other mothers with loss, other families with loss, and that's a most generous thing that anybody could do.
And that's postgraduate work, sweetheart.
Yeah, it is postgraduate. You're absolutely right. That's PhD level right there.
It's very, very true.
You don't give to receive, Laura Essig says. That's correct. You don't. So this is amazing. So you go to heaven if you think if you think this way. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Some
think
people,
so.
it's so hard to hear me. Some people are having a hard time hearing me. I don't know.
A little bit. If you go a little bit in the middle.
All right, hold on. Let me see.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm really good show, but that's all right.
There you go. Oh, you gonna put it on?
I will. Unfortunately, Carmen won't be able to hear it, but we'll just have to. You don't mind.
All right, don't worry.
So sorry, Carmel.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. I know James is connecting. He'll be connected soon.
There we are. Is that
There you
better?
go.
Is
Yes.
that better? Yes. Okay.
Yes. That's what you get.
Okay. Thank
Yes.
you, friends. Sorry.
There you go. Diane Edwards says, when you give, you do so without any expectation. That's correct.
The way to be. The way to be. Imagine if everybody was grateful and gracious and generous. Imagine people were generous and did things just out of the kindness of their hearts. And I think for the next week, why doesn't everybody here try to do things every day, just in moments, the kindness of your heart?
Yes.
Try it for 1 week, from next Monday to next Monday. Do something with the kindness of your heart, just to do it.
Right.
That's all.
Well, yesterday we had a new moon in Aries, and I'll tell you, it's all about setting an expectation for what you want for the year. So that would be a great thing to set up. Set an expectation for yourself to be good, to be mindful, to be conscious, to be grateful. It will go a long way in your soul's development and a long way for other people.
That's a new moon in Aries. Very true. When does the new moon? That's already happened. Yes.
It just happened, but it's not. It's still time. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's always good time to make this choice.
But if you do the thing about being generous the next week, just to make sure you do that. And I just want you to note, maybe at night before you go to bed, have a little journal and just write what you feel. Again, not what you did as far as that act of generosity or graciousness, but just how you feel every night. And I guarantee you that as that builds up each week, at the end of the week, you're going to feel like a very different person. And we'll see what happens. It's energy. Again, it's energy. It's what we do with that energy. And there are not enough people to be generous and gracious, because right now, I know from the television that I don't watch YouTubes now. I can't watch the news. It's negative. We don't need negativity. One person in Japan says, we don't watch television. No reason to. And I think it can be very dangerous, very dangerous.
Well, this is an interesting question. Marla Simpson says, I'm psychic, but last night I mourned for my family losses. She's talking to us, do you ever feel very sad, James and Kellee? Isn't that human? Absolutely. Oh, I have moments of feeling very sad. And I know you do, James. We talk about it.
Sure. I've lost some good friends in the AIDS crisis, a lot of my friends. And I was actually writing some pictures last night. I said, I really, really miss you. And I really miss that physicalness. And I do. Of course you do. Of course, it's human. Like you said, it's human. Yeah. But the best thing is we'll see them again. We will see them again. And it'll be a good time. It's going to be a reunion for sure. It's going to be a party.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to have a party. Over there, not here, over there. Because we have to remember that those people in the spirit side, they're looking so forward to us coming home. They look so forward to us coming home. And it's amazing. A gentleman, a woman, whose husband he was living. She passed. She was young when she passed, probably 30. She was a Japanese lady, and I remember doing seances with Leslie Flint. And she'd come to those seances often, and she'd say, "Why don't you come home here? I miss you. Come here." And he said, "Well, it's not my time yet." She goes, "Oh, could you please come?" And Bob Kennedy, his name was. And he finally passed about 2 years ago after 30 years separate.
Mm,
And I'm sure that reunion was quite great. And
I
they
bet.
prepare for our reunion. They prepare for it. But remember, being generous and gracious, it is, like I said, it's an aspect of your soul. It's a
Hmm.
and, and that's who we are. And don't forget that, because those little words of generosity,
Hmm.
acts of kindness, they add up. They do
Oh
add
God,
up.
yes.
They build your character. And when you
Yeah.
pass the spirit level, you don't talk to each other vocally. You do it telepathically, and you see each other, if you will. There's your colors, the colors, the clothing, robes you wear, whatever attire you wear, reflects the character that you are.
Mm,
It reflects a character of generosity, of graciousness, of
yeah.
compassion, of love, and also reflects the negativity too.
Hmm.
So I don't know about you, but I want to be looking
Oh
pretty
no, I want
good.
to be robed up, and
Yeah,
I already know
because
the colors I want.
because here in this level, we hide our thoughts. We can hide our thoughts and our feelings. Over there, you cannot hide them at
Yeah,
all, and
that's
people
true.
see you for exactly who you are.
Oof.
And it's the right thing. Treat others as you want to be treated. That's the best way to generosity and graciousness. I had a lot of people say, "Well, how come you do that?" I said, "Because it's the way you should do it. People should do it.
Yes.
Not many people do that anymore." I said, "I do. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're always kind and good.
Well, that's just the way it should be."
Always. Um,
Ardella says, "Are there any souls in the spirit world that have done wrong for us on earth? Are they there to welcome us? Or would our soul not want to have them welcome us?" Oh, that's interesting, Ardella.
hmm.
That's very much a human kind of human way of looking at it, I think. Tell you want to start with that, and I'll
Well,
answer.
are there any souls in the spirit world that have done wrong for us on earth? Well, I don't I don't think I understand exactly
Oh,
the question.
so I once, I'm just going to say, I once had this demonstration. I might have mentioned this on the show used it many times. My friend Magda,
Oh
and I
yeah.
did a demonstration at a hotel, and I brought through a lady, and I said this, I described her, and I said, I think her name was Edith, and I said, "I want to come over here." And my good friend Magda, who taught metaphysics for 30 years, she said, "That's my sister. I don't want to hear her. I didn't like her here, and I don't want to hear her there. So send her back." And I was shocked, and a lot of the audience members were like, "Whoa." They tried so hard to come through. So the process of the communicating is so hard. It's difficult. And probably took a lot of energy for that spirit, the system,
Oh yeah.
to probably ask for forgiveness. So
Yeah.
really, it was really kind of unfair not to do that. But when a spirit passes over, and I can't say this as general overall because everybody's different, and the amount of time they need to maybe to open up is differently. But for generally speaking, there's an expansion of consciousness, there's an opening of consciousness and awareness,
Mhm.
and you begin to see things in your life from a soul level, of lessons that you passed, of lessons
Right.
you didn't pass, of relationships in your family and your friends, and things you should have done differently. Maybe you should have
Yeah.
used more patience, or more compassion, or more understanding, and not be so headstrong, perhaps. And maybe you did something and you didn't really mean to do it. It came from somewhere else, some insecurity. And when you meet them, you'll see them in that soul level. Your soul will meet their soul. You're not going to be the same exactly. I'm really angry at you and I want to talk to you when you see
Right.
them. That doesn't seem to happen. You'll have a memory of that personality trait or that experience, but you'll see them on a soul level, which is a very different level than the
Right.
personality you knew in Earth.
Right.
I guess that's the best way to describe it.
I always have, often I'll have, when I'm doing readings, I'll have souls on the other side that will say to me, I wish I had appreciated life more, or I wish I had been kinder to others, or those kind of remarks.
Often. I know you can't
Often.
hear what we're saying, but you're just saying that there are people that pass over and tell us readings I do, that a lot of spirituals say, "I wish I was kinder in the lifetime. I wish I was more generous in the lifetime. I should have been."
Yeah.
So it's really that no
Yeah.
should haves, would haves, or could haves. And that's
Yes.
how we should live our lives. No should haves, would haves, or could haves. I wrote that book, Unfinished Business, for that very reason, because I got so tired of spirits coming to me saying, "If only I knew then what I know now, would have made different choices." Why can't we
Right.
make those choices? And I think it's really up to each human being to
Right.
take the time to do the work and take
Right.
responsibility to do the work. Not wait for somebody else to do it for you, not join some religion that base it on that. You have to step up, not blame it on your parents who abused you or a partner that abused you, whatever it might be. You got to step up because when you let past life review, your parents aren't going to be with you, your partners aren't going to be with you. You have to
Right.
stand up for yourself and take
Right.
responsibility for your choices that you made.
You do. You have to really step up. You have to be very aware, very conscious. And it can really start with things like generosity or appreciative of something or being, I don't know, just kind to others. It can start like that.
So, Kelly, I have something I'm going to ask if you don't mind.
No, go.
People that are listening to us now, I want you to start listing to us. Tell us, how are you generous? What things do you do that
Yeah.
show generosity? What things do you do that show graciousness? I just want to hear from people
Hmm.
here. You can just write them down.
Yeah, I love that one.
I think that we have to do that because people need to start thinking about it instead of thinking about other things. So I'm seeing a lot of
Right.
questions, but they have nothing to do with the topic. So
Right.
let's see.
Oh, let me see. Let's see what people are saying. Take flipping responsibility. um, that's very true. I pray. People are saying, I pray. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And
Well, keep on going. You
Sharon,
guys can do
yeah.
it.
Sharon
Yes,
Long says, I say kind remarks to others.
that's very good. Try this.
Colleen Kelly says, I listen.
That's very good, Colleen. Active listening is really important.
Oh, I love this. Candace Scriver says, I always tell others they are worth it no matter what on this earth.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you hear
That's
I
that?
heard
great,
that.
Candace.
Oh,
That I
You can
love
hear it?
that.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, I love that, honey. Let's see. Oh, Diana Lindsay says, I'm kind to animals.
Great. Kind animals.
Um, Penny Osmus says, always say thank you.
Always say
Mhm.
thank you. I love that. Always say,
Hmm.
even if they don't hear it, just say thank you. That's right.
Oh, I love this one. Heather Killen says, I share what I have with people and I help them whenever I can. I buy food for homeless people sometimes. I
Right.
love that.
Right.
I love that.
Mary Bailey, be thankful for blessings. 100%. You bet,
Yeah.
Mary. Be
Mm,
thankful. And when you're thankful for blessings, more blessings come your way. It's the way the energy works.
yes,
How do
absolutely.
how do
I
I
hope.
help myself be more generous with me? Like I find it's easy for me to look out into other people and find something about them that I can thank them for. Or like, I'm so glad you came. I'm so glad I got to see you. But you've done that today a lot. Is you forgive yourself. You're worth it. That kind of thing.
Oh, you gotta find those little aspects of yourself that are so incredible.
So how do I be more generous with myself?
Well, number one, make a
So I
list
don't
of
cut
things.
myself any slack.
That's right. So make a
Yeah.
list of things you love about yourself. Aye. Aye.
Hmm.
Make a list of things you love about yourself. 10 things you love about yourself. And then you can break that even further. 5 things that you really are your soul makeup. And then 3 things you need to share with the world. That part of you that make you unique. That you got to share with the world. Because you're making every single one of us makes a difference in this world. I don't care who you are. Every single one of us.
Absolutely. Listen to this one. This is a good one. Kylie Hodges says, I've been pretty selfish my whole life, but I've decided I'm going to do random acts of kindness daily, not only to strangers, but friends. Great.
Fantastic.
That's
Your
nice.
whole life will change then. Your whole life will open up that way because when we're selfish, it means not loving self.
Right.
And you'll open up in different ways you'll never expect it'll happen.
Oh, I love this. Jane Grossman. Hi, Jane. She says, I connect with the eyes and give them a huge smile. I love that. Saying thank you to everyone who's on the front line, especially during the pandemic. It's amazing how many people are so surprised with this expression of gratitude. Well, that sounds like you, Carmela.
People were really, really nice when I was a grocery store worker and people would come in and say, thank you for being, oh, thank you for working. Thank you. And it got harder and harder with all the new
Mm,
restrictions. And every day there was some new protocol we had to meet. And people would come in and say, I cannot believe you're doing this job. You're still here. You could be home. Thank you. And that that fed me like that. I went home and I was tired. It was a 12-hour day and
mm.
it barbecue sauce in my hair. None of that is glamorous, right? But being able to go to sleep and say, you know what, Mrs. Pearson, She's 82-year-old, lovely little lady. I know she ate good food today because I gave it to her, and she's going to be fine for 2 days.
Yeah.
Like
That's a miracle.
that
Wow.
fed me
Right.
for days, and I had so many days like that, so many days like
Mm.
that, and it was as little as these the kindest people were the people that would come in and they say, I have all these people at home. I'm the only one that can leave the house. And I'm so grateful you're here. And here, please just take my phone number if you ever need anything. Or can I give you a tip? Like, we're not allowed to accept anything like that.
Mm.
I said, this is enough. And they, time and again, didn't believe me. They wanted to hand me money or something. And I had to look in their eyes and say, you saying thank you is enough.
Wow.
Sometimes just saying thank you is enough.
What about the wine?
The wine is good.
Well, she's going from one job to another, and she went to the store near her, which is a wine shop. And they said to her, Camilla, we want to give you something, right? Is that what it
Yeah.
was? Yeah. Oh, you give me enough. And they said, we want to give you like bottles of wine.
They gave me this wine shop that I adore, and I send people there a lot. And
So
I went in
sweet.
just to buy my regular bottle of wine for the week, and they sent me home with a whole package. They said, no, this is the person you are for us all the time.
Oh
And
gosh.
it was a physical manifestation of how much they appreciated me just being,
Wow.
not grumpy. Not
But they do that all the time, probably.
I think they do.
You,
Yeah.
you know, as she was talking, I was just getting this insight, this vision. I don't know where all those things come from, but when I grew up, and we all grew up, you walk around parks and you saw the monuments or statues of people that were well known and
Yeah.
so forth. Maybe each person can imagine that there's a statue for them by the
Oh.
generosities they've given out, how they've changed someone's life in a way
Yes.
which they never expected, just
Wow.
by doing something, whether it's a smile, whether it's buying something, whether it's saying a kind word,
Right.
and work it. Don't let just have it. Work it. Change
Right.
the energy.
Right.
Make the world a better place. A lot of people complain how horrible the world is. Well, you can make it different. Your microcosm can change it. Just
Right.
by and don't worry about the outside. Go within. With your little microcosm, change
Right.
that. I mean, she's sitting here today because I recognize that greatness that this light is. You know,
Absolutely. You can
she
see
might
it.
not
It
know
comes
herself,
pouring
but
out.
I wouldn't change that. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's why she's here because it's just you don't see many people who are generous and gracious. And
Right.
I mean, for instance, even in a parking lot when someone steals your place, like you're waiting there for anything,
Right.
and I'll park. I'm saying, "Son, did you enjoy that?" Because I was waiting for the. Oh well, I didn't know something. But and they go just act like that I'm talking to me
Mm.
or see me. I walk up to like, "Excuse me, I was waiting." That's okay though. It's more important for you. I'm happy that you had that experience, but just pay it forward. Give it to someone next time, okay? I make sure give a lesson every time,
Right.
not to judge them, but to let them be aware of what just happened because they might be, on
Right.
walking spinal cord. So
Right. That's so true. Lisa Phillips says, I go to the YMCA and there are a lot of elderly people. I always assist when I can. Bravo, Lisa. What
good, Lisa.
surprises me is that they're amazed that I hold the door or carry things for them. I was raised that that's what you do. If never watch anyone struggle and not offer assistance. I'm grateful that I can do small things to help. Boy, Lisa, that's fabulous.
It's great.
Isn't
It's
that
great.
great?
It's great.
The
I think
world would be a better
volunteer
place if everybody would do this.
and volunteer work is great. I volunteered
Oh,
once at a hospital, and I volunteered. I worked, and I extra volunteered with people that are elderly people that were working in the office, and just talking to them. They
yeah.
love just to chat. And you
Yeah.
find something you're interested in, and you talk about it, whether it's roses or whatever it might be, or
Yeah.
recipes, or whatever it might be, and you just chat with them. They love it. They need
They
people who need
love
it.
it. I used to work, when I was in grad school, we had to pick and choose some of the things that we would do, and I would work in the elderly homes, and they love to tell their stories, and I love to
Love to.
listen. And I actually
Yeah.
met a woman who was a former psychic. It was fabulous. Really
They
made
teach us a
my
lot.
life. It was so
They teach,
fabulous.
they teach us a
So
lot.
how does it impact spirits in the afterlife when we exercise generosity, gratefulness towards them? For example, sending prayers, love, well wishes, encouragement to evolve. Thank you.
Well, it's exactly what you do because they will hear, feel, and experience that
Yeah.
thought, that feeling you're sending them, and it'll make them feel better. It'll make them feel appreciated. It'll make them
Yes.
feel loved. always we should. Even when they first pass over, we miss them. They feel that as well. So it's the right thing to do. I mean, that's the thing to just experience a gratefulness. Thank you, appreciation.
Yeah.
I happened to come across the movie Ghost yesterday. I was channeling around and go,
Oh.
movie Ghost, very good movie Ghost. Remember that movie? Very very good.
With Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg, Patrick Swayze. Yeah, she was
Yeah. Funny. Let's see. I have to say this. Tara Malone says, I lost my husband last Monday suddenly, and my
wow.
faith has really been tested since he was
Yes.
only 40. Oh, honey.
Oh, wow.
I have had a generous amount of love and prayers my way, and I finally feel that today. Wow, Tara. First of all, we're sorry for your loss. And it's amazing that you are able to feel this now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It'll get better, sweetheart. It'll get better. I don't know how it has, but I have a very strong sense that you knew something was going to happen. I don't know why I say that to you, but I don't know if he had a dream or something. I have a feeling it's something he knew about. In that sense, he might have known about it. But he's
Oh,
around quite a bit, so you know he's around you. And you just got to, in between the cries, which is going to happen, of course, know he's there holding you. He's holding you. You know he is holding. And I don't know if he used to smoke or when he's younger or some kind of smoking, but I feel it's going to come to some kind of smell, a scent. And then even holding his shirts. I'm aware of you holding his shirts. He sees you do that. He sees you crying a lot, and that's normal. And but it'll get better. I know he's promised it's going to get better. Even he's sitting in his chair. I know that. So he sees all that you do.
oh. Well, here's a
Carmela, here you
wonderful
go, Carmela.
Carmela. This is from our dear friend Paul Calliser. He says, Carmela is such a beautiful soul. Thank you for sharing. Gratitude, being thankful for the blessings in my life, is bringing me out of the darkness of grief. Makes me grateful for this life, this opportunity. Love you both. We love you, Paul.
Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to be here. This is this is a huge step from last year when I would be go home and make my gratitude list of three things, and sometimes it was a shower, clean hair, and clean laundry, and I couldn't find anything besides that. Like I was just it was a lot.
Wow.
It's a big journey to be where I am today. So I really appreciate you allowing me to be here.
How did you
Thank
get there, Carmela? That's what I'd like to know. How did you go from that place to where you are now?
How did I what?
How did you get to that place from where you are, from there to where you are now?
There was a lot given back to me in the form of uh, things that happened, coincidences that would people would come into my life, like this guy, that would reinforce the positive part of that.
Wow.
Where before it was the other part was being reinforced, the snark, the negative,
Mm.
the oh it's funny to be sarcastic, and that was getting reinforced. But I was dying inside. I was dying, and it was squashing me, and I felt like a little gremlin inside. And it was only when I allowed myself to be that grateful person, to be that, like that puppy at the dog park. I was allowing myself to enjoy the world like a puppy.
Mm.
And everybody wants to be around a puppy.
It's
So
true.
I and it got easier for me to find that, and I'm still looking for that. I'm still looking for gratitude to be my default position every day. And it's getting easier, but it's a muscle, and some days it's work and some days it's effortless.
Yeah.
When it's effortless, I forget to take notes about how it got to be effortless. But there are some days that was like, oh boy, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of heavy
Let,
lifting.
let me help you with that.
Okay.
And let me help you with that. I think, until I don't think about that, but I think some of that is control. Try to be in control of everything. And you can't have control. Because, as I mentioned so many times, you can't control other people. You can't control situations. You can't control your family feels, friends feel. They're going to do what they want to do. The only thing you control is how you respond. That's the best thing you do for yourself.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Just the beginning. I told you it's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. Um, let's see here.
So I'm just trying to
Laura,
warn her what she's involved with
oh,
here.
It's
Love
so
that.
true. Laura Isaac says, when you are standing in line and someone has one item, let them go ahead of you. You're so true, Laura. So many times I will see people look and just ignore them. We always look and check to make sure someone isn't behind us with just a couple of items. I do the same thing,
Me
Laura.
too. Of course. Right thing to do,
Yeah,
Laura. Right thing to
yeah,
do.
it's the right thing to do.
What else? What do people want to show? Some generosity or appreciation,
Let's see.
gratitude.
Kim Ann Snodgrass. Hi, Kim Ann. I volunteer with Junior League, a group of women who volunteer with charities that benefit women and children. It's a lot of fun. I get to meet lots of new people, and we see how our work benefits those in need. That's fabulous, Kim Ann.
Perfect.
Oh, I love this one. Okay. Alicia McGuire says, I work for a podiatrist, and about 90% are seniors. I so love talking to them and getting
Great.
to know them. I'm grateful for my job.
The best.
The best.
The best. The
I
best.
love that. Okay, so we have to read this one. Miriam McCowd says, this is interesting. She says, let us treat each other with respect, kindness, etc., regardless of their skin tone, religion, culture, etc., so that when their time comes for them to leave this world, we don't have nasty spirit beings at the end of their physical life. And remember, spirit beings are able to impress us all with nasty thoughts. Let us make this planet a world where kindness and caring prevails. There you go.
Right. And we always have to remember about being kind to ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I said,
here,
be the way you want it to be. You know, if you want
yeah.
kindness and love, you got to do that. Be that statue in the park. Be that. Be that. Get a plaque for yourself.
Yes.
Have a plaque made. I mean, really, you just have to change the world, make it a better place.
Right. Maria Rodriguez says, I live in New Jersey, so it's a lot of homeless. Since I live next to an inner city, I take a few dollars and I give whoever comes to me that day. That is another way I give gratitude. That's
I think
wonderful.
that's great. I think we should go there and make breakfast for them one day. You know what I used to do? It was really funny. I used to have a TV show called The Beyond Show, and it was on. Gosh, it was on every day. And it was take 5 o'clock in the morning in Los Angeles, and I used to really have to get up there very early in the studio at 5:30, and there were only 200 seats in the studio, and it was first come first serve, and people flew from around the world to get tickets. They never should have on. And I felt so bad for these people staying in the cold that I literally would go to the donut store and get coffees and donuts for these people, and
Wow.
just go around the line and say here, and I'd have a hat on. They would say, "Who's that? Is that Ken?"
Wow. That's
I
very
was,
generous.
well, I didn't think anything of it because these poor people are waiting. They flew all this way. They didn't get it. Come on, we got to do them humanity. For God's sake. I don't
Right.
know. It's just the right thing to do. It's the right thing to. And the production company would pay for it because they were so cheap. So I paid for it. Heck with it, you know.
Isn't
It
that
was fantastic.
amazing? My
But
gosh.
you got
Uh,
to. I mean, you have to. I don't
you
know.
have
You have
to.
to.
That's crazy.
You have to.
I
You've
saw
always been that way.
somebody with a comment earlier that they said they go out and they are grateful for Mother Nature and the trees and the things around them. I think it was Mrs. Miss Argueta, but she said that's what I'm grateful for. And like maybe if there are people that are toxic around me, that's where I have to start. Like I can be thankful for this beautiful tree or a bush.
Hmm.
And if I can start there and be in gratitude, just
Yeah.
be in that
Yes.
gratitude space, it'll reach over to one person. And then
Yes.
maybe to the next person, like the strawberry plant. Like maybe it has to, maybe just being in it with Mother Nature, if that's where you are,
Hmm.
maybe that's a
You,
starting
you see
point.
where I live.
Yeah.
I'm in nature.
Yeah.
And you know, you can't personalize it. You cannot make other people's stuff your stuff. You can't. Their judgments, what they think of you. We give so much power away to the people about ourselves. And that's such an illusion. We have love ourselves and say, that's your stuff, that's your monkey, that's not mine. I know who I am. You don't define me. I define myself. And I don't need you to validate who I am. I know who I am. Right?
I have a hard time with that sometimes.
I know, but we'll get over it. For God's sake. It's your first night. We just got a roller coaster ride.
All right.
I put past program also, so that. Okay.
Tara Malone says, I just showed my son his father's shirt that I've been sleeping with every night, which is the last shirt he was wearing that still has his cologne on it. Oh, good for you, Tara.
I mentioned Tara, but he's aware of it. He's aware of it. He's okay, Tara. He's okay. He's gonna try to. I know that sounds weird. He just passed over. I guarantee you, he's gonna find someone else for you to love later on. Guarantee it. He's very stubborn, your husband. Very stubborn man, my love. You know that. And you're gonna hear him a lot. Don't worry.
Lana
And he-
Fletcher says, we need a more compassionate world. I feel many people have lost the ability to feel compassion for each other. Being a compassionate and kind human is what we need more of. That is the truth.
Yes, and a good way to do that. Today is I have house plants. And I
That's
talk to
true.
them. I give them, what would you like today? Oh, I'd like a little water. Okay, would you like a little fertilizer or food with that? Maybe a little bit. Okay. And just a compassion for that. And what I do is I will put myself in the place of that plant. So I'm the plant asking for
Right.
something. Or even like we talk, the Buddhists talk about, you can't kill anything because we're part of each other, which is true. I believe if there's an ant there or a spider in your house and you want to squash it, wait a minute. What if you were that spider? How would you feel if someone just squashed on you? It's only difference is size. Come on. There are giants probably bigger than us in the world, but you gotta
Yeah,
keep this all life is respect at all levels.
that's
And
very
that's what
true.
kinds of generosity of saving that life, putting outside.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Interesting. Susan Spinelli says, what do you say about a young child being very compassionate and generous? Wow.
Yes,
My
great.
son at 8 saw a homeless woman sleeping on a bench. He wanted to go get her a blanket. All
Oh.
week he talked about it, and at school in his class, he started a blanket
Ah,
drive for the next 10 years for every winter. He's now still helping as a nurse through this pandemic.
Oh,
Okay, that takes the cake.
ding, 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 ding,
Ding,
ding,
ding,
ding. Yeah,
ding. We have a
there you
winner.
go. There you go.
That's a
There
great
you
one,
go.
Susan. You should be
That is
so
good.
beyond proud of him.
You guys
I'm
are
proud
very
of him.
good.
Boy,
Yeah,
what an advanced soul. Now that's an advanced soul.
that's all. We need more of that. He's
Hmm.
changed the world in some little way.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not what the world can do for you, it's what you can do for the world.
right. Riney Hounsel says experiencing gratitude closes the illusion of separation and holds
Very,
reverence for each other and our connection to source. Exactly.
very well stated, Randy. Very
Yes.
well stated.
Yes.
Exactly
And
right.
Lily Pad here says that's her name, Lily Pad. She says a
Is it really
smile
with that?
gives a ripple effect of passing from one person to the next. Yes.
I
And
mean,
I
don't
like
you
your
you
name.
make someone feel happy? You make someone laugh or smile. Don't you feel good about that?
Yeah.
I know I do. I love to make people have a fabulous time and laugh, and
yeah,
I feel good. They feel good.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Right.
which is
Sonia Crosby says, love is the only thing that will drive out the hate in this world. That's right. Actually,
right.
that's correct. That is correct. And then Anne Hamlin says the opposite of anger is fear, not love. The opposite of anger is
Hmm.
fear,
Could be.
not love. Um, let's see here. Oh, it's okay. Leslie Baum says, you've all mentioned practicing gratitude daily. I lost
Yep.
my fiance in December to COVID. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. It has been devastating. Oh, I can imagine. I am trying to be positive because he was such a positive person, but it is so hard because I'm so sad from his loss. What types of activities can you suggest to start developing the attitude of
Okay.
gratitude?
Okay. Great. So what I would like you to do is, um, he said he was a very positive person and he's full of gratitude and positive. How was he positive? What ways did he teach you?
Wait,
What gifts did he leave behind? Can you
wait.
hear me?
Yeah, get a little closer still. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say the dead never go without leaving gifts behind. So this man was an incredible person, your fiance. What gifts did he leave you? What gifts did he leave you to live with? Can you hear that, Kelly?
Oh, yeah, really well.
All right. So that's what you should make a list of the different. Instead of in a space of, my God, how can he leave me? This is terrible. I'll be lonely. What did he leave you? Did he leave you insights, knowledge, awareness of certain things? Do things he would like to be done with him in memory. Do something with him standing next to you. Realize he's standing next to you. Share it with him. Don't think that you're separate. He's right there watching you. Share it with him. Maybe you'll see a beautiful butterfly or a bird go by and say, "Honey, do you see that? Look at that." And maybe send things. Thank you, honey, for teaching me this. What did he teach you all these years that now you can teach other people? Think of the positive things he's left, not the negative, the positive attributes. And they want to be remembered that way, always.
Yes. Yeah. Gail Rappaport says, I'm grateful that I get to paint angels. Oh,
That's
I have
great,
a
Gail.
private group, and every so often I pay it forward in the group and send an angel to someone in need. James, you did a reading and validated it is her purpose. I so appreciated the reading. Love you both.
Wow,
Sweet.
thanks, Gail. That's great. I just painted my bathroom actually.
Really?
One's on friendship and one's on gratitude. Yeah.
Mm. Kathleen Fleming says, when I was a kid in one of the group homes, I was in every holiday. We would make about 12 turkeys and all the fixings and pack them up individual meals and spend all day during the holiday delivering meals to the homeless. It had an incredible impact on myself. I love helping. Good for you. Yeah.
Good for
It's a
you,
great
Kathleen.
feeling.
Keep on helping. Don't
Keep on
stop.
helping. Samej Thomas says, when we extend kindness, we all can sow the seeds of love and begin to
100%.
watch them grow. Eventually, they will blossom and more seeds will be set in the hearts of others.
Well, very
Yes.
well put. Very well.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Yeah. Tara Lynch says, I am grateful all the time. The more grateful you are, the more abundant your life will be. Also, positive affirmations. I talk to myself all the time and I say that I am love, I am happy. Always watch how you think. Your words are powerful. Very true.
Very true.
And
You
James,
are
always, what do you say? You say, I am,
healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. Healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. Healthy am I,
you mean
happy
like
am I,
this?
holy am I. How's
Like
that?
this?
I
Okay.
made it my own.
And she made it her own. You did. Do you have a book with you?
I
You
do.
did.
I do.
I gave her my cup and she made one of her own.
Yeah.
And it was a good one.
I made a strong am I, powerful am I, worthy am I, supported am I, protected am I, safe am I.
I love it. I think
Right.
I predict a new cup. I love it. Mary Houghton says, I'm so grateful for the interconnectedness of all life. For the past few months, I've been feeding peanuts to a squirrel in my yard.
Love
Oh,
that.
she now comes right up to the door when I open it and stands within inches of me waiting for her treat.
Oh,
That's too cute. Good for
great.
you.
That's great. Come down on your knees and just feed her that way. She probably love that. I love that. Wow.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Well, keep up
Well,
the gratitude and make with some gratitude every day. I mean, every
yeah.
day my gratitude changes. I tell you every day how much I love you. Gracious and gratitude from my life. Generous. And thank you very much, Renee. Generous, and you're very generous and gratitude for you. And everyone watching, thank you.
Yeah.
And
Thank you. And
I
thank
start to
you
thank
so
you,
much,
Nancy.
Carmela. That was really fun to
Well,
have
thank
you
you.
on tonight.
Thank you for having me, everyone. This is
Hey,
this
wait.
is the highlight.
Wait,
This is
you
the
have to
highlight.
promise me you have to get a picture of that chocolate cake you're going to make and post it on the Facebook page. I have to see this.
Yep.
I got to see this picture.
Roger.
It's our dinner.
Roger.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Much love
Thanks,
to everybody.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
The James and Kellee Show.